Hi, everyone. So we're going to begin the webinar in 5 more minutes and just let a couple more people come in. Hi, everyone. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. Just going to let a couple more attendees filter in. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our second webinar of the year, Building a Go-to-Market Plan for your Marketplace app. We are really excited to have all of you here today. Thank you so much for taking time out on this lovely Wednesday morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are to join us. If you're new here, hi, we're Brighttail, and we are a full-service B2B marketing agency that specializes in Atlassian Marketplace marketing. We have had the chance to work with and ignite the growth of some of the most successful marketplace partners over the years. So, we're just really excited to be able to have this opportunity to connect with more of you and to be able to share some of our knowledge and experience with all of you as well. Just as a quick introduction, my name is Leisha, and I am a senior manager and strategist here at Brighttail. And joining me today as our speaker is our one and only founder and CEO of Brighttail, Matthew Lusader. Matthew has led the team at Brighttail and has been working within the Atlassian ecosystem for the past 7 years. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Alicia. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you to all of you for joining us for our second Marketplace webinar of the year. For those of you who missed the first one, no worries. We'll include a link to it in our post follow-up email. When we had that first session, we ran a poll to discover what topics you were most interested in learning about next. There's a lot of interest in go-to-market planning, so I'm really excited to be able to reconnect with you today, open up our playbook a little bit, and share some insights that hopefully help you along your journeys. So as Leisha mentioned, we've been working in the marketplace ecosystem since 2017. During that time, we've had the privilege of working with 13 really amazing marketplace partners. We've directly supported over 60 apps along the way. And cumulatively across those engagements, we've been able to build up over 23 years of go-to-market experience. So today I'm going to be sharing our playbook with you for successful go-to-market. And I do have a lot to cover, so I'll be jumping in and moving pretty quickly. But before I do that, I did forget, Leisha, I think we had a poll.
So we do have a couple of housekeeping items to go through before we get started. Thank you, Matthew.
Sorry.
No worries. We're just really excited to get started. So yeah, we're going to be talking through all things go-to-market strategy today for your marketplace app. But just before we do want to send out a very quick poll just to get like a temperature check of the room. So we should be sending it out right now. We just want to know what motivated you to register for this webinar. So we're just going to leave this open for a couple of seconds. So please feel free to answer. And we'll give it about 20 more seconds and then we'll close the poll. All right, I think we should have all our responses in. Let us see. All right, we have a pretty varied group here today, which is exciting because, we're going to be talking through all things go-to-market strategy today. And, it is a big topic. And we'll be covering everything from, things like optimizing your marketplace listing to making the most and maximizing the most out of your growth marketing channels. So, whether you are gearing up to launch your very first app or you're a little bit more seasoned and have been in the ecosystem for a couple more years, that will be something for everyone. And it is our hope that, you walk away from this session with newfound insights or a fresh new perspective for your app's marketing strategy. Couple of housekeeping items and then we'll get started right away. This is a webinar, so unfortunately we cannot see or hear you. However, what you do have available to you though are 2 buttons at the bottom of your screen. So the first one is a chat button. The chat button allows you to interact with us as well as other attendees. So that's where you can send messages. Feel free to chime in with your own thoughts and personal insights throughout the session. The second button is a Q&A button. So what this lets you do is leave questions for us to answer. So there will be a designated Q&A session at the end of this webinar. So if you have any questions throughout this presentation, feel free to send them in via the Q&A button and we will try our best to address them. Participation is highly encouraged. Don't be shy. There are no silly questions here in the space. So yeah, really excited to hear from all of you as well as we present. Hi, Monica. It's great to see you too. Right, last but not least, you will be receiving a copy of the slides and a recording of this webinar, and it will also be available on demand on our Brighttail website. All right, I'm going to hand this over to Matthew. Take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Leisha. Sorry for jumping the gun there. I'm just really excited to dive into today's content with everyone here. So let's go ahead and do that. Quickly, for those of you who missed our first webinar, I want to start by just briefly talking about why a go-to-market plan is so important now. Because in reality, you didn't really need one before. That was one of the great things about the Atlassian Marketplace. You could literally just build a great solution, bring it into the marketplace, and sit back and watch sales grow. But that was a different time and a different world. Today, you compete against 5,700 apps, all battling for visibility and limited budgets within the marketplace and beyond in marketing channels. So you can't just launch an app and expect organic growth or count on that for very long. You really need a go-to-market strategy in order to drive awareness for your solution, create demand, and ensure that buyers find and prefer your solution first. So there's a lot that you can do when it comes to marketing your app, but I know many of you have limited resources and you're probably in a hurry to see success. So I wanted to share with you a few key principles that can help guide your decision-making and prioritization before we get started. The first principle is really to prioritize investing in channels that you can own. One of the challenges with the marketplace is that we don't own the platform, right? So Atlassian dictates what attribution system is in place. There's constraints and limitations to the data that you have access to and what you can do with it in terms of marketing to your customers or actually Atlassian's customers. And so that can create some challenges for us as marketers and as businesses looking for ways to really drive growth within the marketplace. So making it a priority to build those levers so that you can pull them when you need to drive growth is really important. So recommend prioritizing your website, your blog, and your social platforms, email as well. And later on, after you get those dialed in and you have high-performing channels, then you can invest in other platforms that you don't necessarily own, but that could provide a lot of value to your audience and business. Next up, try to focus on building champions, not customers. This sounds obvious, and I suspect that philosophically, a lot of you are in agreement with it. But at the same time, putting it in practice can sometimes be challenging, and it does require a shift in perspective where you're not measuring success purely in terms of immediate leads and evaluations and sales, but you're also paying attention to things like, am I building an audience that looks to my brand for guidance? Am I empowering them to be more successful in their organizations and in their lives? And so really looking at ways that you can provide additional value to your audience that may not immediately translate into measurable and attributable ROI. So it's good to adopt this mindset and thinking when you're evaluating what you're doing across the buying journey, from pre-sales to post-sales to retention and advocacy. Third principle is know your numbers, but also understand their limits. So before you spend another dollar on marketing, I really recommend that you work on being sure that your tracking and attribution system is properly set up and delivering the data that your business needs and your organization needs to be able to make decisions confidently. That said, it's also important to understand that no attribution system is perfect. Historically, we've all had to work around the challenges of last click attribution within the marketplace. And these days, there are new challenges emerging with GDPR compliance and the forthcoming end of cookies. And so what this means is that increasingly going forward as marketers, we're going to have gaps in our data. And so, yes, we should be using data to inform our strategy, but we should be wary of using it to dictate it because of those gaps in our visibility and our understanding there. All right, so I hope those are some helpful principles in guiding decision-making and prioritization. Now let's go ahead and jump into go-to-market planning. And I want to start with your most important conversion point, your marketplace listing itself. Your marketplace listing is going to determine your search visibility. It'll help cement your positioning against competitors. And ultimately, it helps influence whether buyers choose to start their evaluation with you today or wait till later. So it's important that we get it right. But I do find it surprising how often we encounter partners who have invested a considerable amount of time and money in building a product and bringing it to market, only to launch it with a subpar listing and no marketing support behind it. It's really difficult, especially in today's increasingly competitive categories, for apps to be successful if they're not discoverable, if they're not well positioned. And so that's why it's important that we get the listing right to begin with. Here are a couple of random examples, just kind of showing at a glance the difference between an unoptimized and optimized listing in the time tracking category. In the subsequent slides, I'll be breaking down some of the key elements that you want to be thinking about when optimizing your listings. But I think, what I'd like to highlight here is, that you really do have extremely limited real estate to work with within the marketplace listing. And it's so important that you're making the most of it, making the most of all of the media capabilities, the ability to embed supporting video content, and then maximizing your character counts in order to improve your ability to rank for valuable keywords, and then embedding links within your listing that are going to facilitate the buying decision and journey. So what goes into a winning listing? We do have an in-depth guide. And so I think we'll be including that in our post-webinar follow-up email that will include some additional content around each of these items. But I'll go ahead and walk through an overview here. First and most importantly, is the app name itself. This is one of the most important ranking factors. And so you want to prioritize descriptive keywords that both have high there and intent for your app. And so one of the things that you may have noticed over the last couple of years is there has been a tendency within the marketplace for brands to add more words and descriptors to their app names to improve their search visibility. So if you're underutilizing your character count here, recommend that you dig into some of your SEO research for the marketplace and think about whether it'd be valuable to expand your app name to help you rank for some other important key terms. Next up is the tagline, and this is probably the second most important component here for two reasons. First, it has very high weightage in terms of the search algorithm and determining what keywords you're ranking for. And then the second is the tagline is what gets pulled to the search results page in the marketplace and describes your app. So when your app is sitting next to a dozen other apps, you want to be sure that you're making your differentiation and your value proposition clear so that your users understand why they should be choosing you. So the tagline is really about striking a balance between search engine optimization, ensuring that you're hitting the right keywords and maximizing your character count so that you can rank for the most valuable results, but also in helping to drive conversions and clicks into your marketplace listing itself through strong positioning. Leisha, did you have something?
Yes, hi Matthew. So sorry, could you share your screen again? Oh, there we go, because I don't think we were on that slide previously. All good, just a minor technical difficulty, but can everyone see the slide? The anatomy of a winning listing. Could you just type a 1 in the chat if you're able to see it? Great. All right. Thank you. Sorry, Matthew.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Leisha. I hope that wasn't an issue for too long. All right. So that's the tagline. Next up is the hero video. You know, a lot of brands miss this opportunity, and it is a missed opportunity to really drive home the differentiation and positioning for your app, as well as to drive engagement, giving buyers a glimpse of the impact that your app will make on their life and their organization, helping them to be more effective. Here is not the place for a 5-minute demo video, which I stumble across every now and again, showing someone click through the user flow within the app. That's really bottom of the funnel stuff after you've convinced someone to explore further. At this point, at the top of the listing, when they're first discovering your app, you want to focus on impact and communicating the benefits that you'll be delivering. Later on, we can get to the demo video. All right, next up, you have your 3 key highlights. And here, like elsewhere, we want to strike the right balance between our SEO objectives and our conversion objectives, keeping buyers engaged, getting them excited about your differentiators and the benefits that your product will deliver. So our recommendation oftentimes is to use the headers to showcase your differentiators and the key benefits, and then use the subcopy to detail the enabling features. And then, at the bottom of the page, you'll have 2 other sections. One is more details where you can expand on other features, but you can also use this section to provide a whole lot more value to your audience and really help them in their decision-making process. So consider adding social proof. This could be brands that are using the product, customer count, user testimonials even. But this can help move, increase confidence in taking the next step with you. And the other thing to look at as you're using bullets to capture additional features or use cases is consider embedding links to relevant articles or demo videos to help users explore those features in more detail. And then, also look at including links that are going to help, facilitate the buying journey. So, would it be valuable for users to see a demo, whether that's a scheduled demo or an on-demand one? view a tutorial, contact support, etc. Consider including those links as well, so that your users here are going to your website and your documentation site, etc., to learn more about your product rather than clicking the back button and exploring your competitors' products. And then you have this media section where you can include screenshots to provide additional detail and communicate more information around your product. Do recommend taking the time to have these professionally done, where you're zooming into targeted features, you're adding some on-screen text to help highlight the information that you want to convey in those images. And then don't forget to provide captions for those. It does help with SEO. Okay.
Right, just a very quick temperature check. Are we all still here? If you're still here, react, type something in the chat. Can we get a thumbs up under the reactions? Nice, I see a heart. Thank you, whoever sent that here. Hi, Mark. All right, nice. Oh,
All right.
lots of more hearts right now. This warms my
Oh,
heart.
I don't get to see any of the reactions.
Oh, you don't? I'm seeing a ton.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Well, glad you guys are all engaged and hopefully getting some value out of this. Let's go move on to your website. So, even with the best marketplace listing in the world, you're eventually going to hit a ceiling in terms of organic traffic. Realistically, there's only so many people who are actively searching for a solution like yours within the marketplace at any given time. So there's a limit within the marketplace. And then beyond the marketplace, if your competitors are investing in their websites and marketing channels, you will eventually see a gradual decline in traffic from external search engines. We've seen this with some of our partners, and it's a problem that we've helped them solve along the way. So, it's really important that you are investing in your own levers here. And this is why, if you look at the most successful marketplace partners, they've built very strong digital presences that are feeding thousands and tens of thousands of visitors to their marketplace listings every month. So ultimately, when you max out your growth, organic growth within the marketplace, it's by looking beyond the marketplace that you're going to be able to find a new level of growth. So I came into today wanting to talk about 3 areas of building a high-performing website. After running through this a few times, it was just too long. So I'm dropping search engine optimization. It's a big technical topic. But what I am doing is I've moved all of those slides to the appendix. So when you guys have this deck afterwards, you guys can dig into some of that information. We do highlight, the top 5 issues that we often uncover when doing SEO audits. We give you a self-audit checklist, and we also give you some direction in terms of how to do your own SEO strategy to support your go-to-market planning. So sorry, I won't be able to cover that today. Instead, I will be focusing on product pages and content marketing. So, with product pages, this is, we've talked about the constraints of the marketplaces. Product pages give you the opportunity to finally overcome those and really create the best sales page for your product. And then beyond that, it gives you the opportunity to start attracting and engaging buyers who are a lot earlier in their buying journeys. And so this is going to be really valuable for your brand and your growth going forward. Meanwhile, content marketing is really going to be your key for driving traffic, helping buyers along their decision-making journey, and ultimately building your own audience that you can communicate with on your own terms. All right. So let's dive into building a winning product page. Two thoughts here just to open this discussion. One is that the best product pages don't sell products, they sell solutions, right? And so, everything that we're going to be focused on here is how you elevate your product and its features into a great solution. The second thing is that when you go beyond the marketplace listing and you're now building your website channel, you are going to be attracting visitors who are likely much earlier in their buying journeys than the ones that are going to your marketplace listing. So we don't want to assume that they fully understand their problems or that they've decided to invest in a solution. That's going to be a journey that we're going to want to bring them along on our product page. So in terms of selling a solution rather than a product, the first thing we want to do on our product page is we do not want to include the product name in the header. That's great for SEO, it's bad for user experience, and it's bad for conversions. We want to get people excited about the impact that this product will make on their lives. We need to give them a reason to care before we think about and before they care about knowing what is the product. So, first we want to earn the scroll, make a bold yet credible claim that's going to provoke their investigation. Then in the subhead, we can expand upon that headline, clarifying it, as well as identifying what the product actually is. Now, if you've built a marketplace explainer video, a lot of times including it in the hero banner can be a good choice. And so, with the hero banner, we're really getting people excited about discovering the product and these amazing benefits we can deliver. But immediately, right after they see that, there is going to be this question of, how can I believe you? So we want to include some trust signals right below that. In the simplest version of this can just be your typical customer logo bar underneath that hero banner that establishes an initial level of trust that helps people continue going. And then, as I mentioned, a lot of buyers who are coming to this website, they may not fully understand their problem or may not have decided to solve it yet. So we want to establish relevance in the next section. We want to connect with the buyer's pain points. This is going to build empathy as well as trust, and it's also going to help create motivation for them to continue along the page to figure out how they can overcome this pain that they're facing. After that, we're going to really frame our value. And so this is going to be the features and benefits section. But like the marketplace listing, and because we are focused on selling solutions, not products, we want to lead with benefits and then use the supporting subcopy to talk about those enabling features. So depending on your product and how sophisticated it is, you may need to expand this beyond those 3 benefits. And if you have a lot to talk about, then you may want a more sophisticated UI design here. But basically, you're going to want to dive into your features and benefits after that. And then you want to be able to show that what you're saying is true. And so here's where we want to integrate some additional social proof. Case studies are great if you have them. Otherwise, you can use testimonials or badges, etc., just to build some additional trust and credibility. And then after people get excited about the change that you'll bring to their lives and see that others are already enjoying the benefits of this change, they're going to have the natural question, well, what's it going to cost me, right? Sure, we could send them to the marketplace to see the pricing, but we have if we do it on our website, we have the opportunity to really frame that pricing with a statement that focuses on the value that they're getting out of it. Additionally, having an embedded pricing calculator gives us a really nice interactive component that we can later on use for our retargeting campaigns. So we know that someone's been exploring pricing, we know that they're very bottom of the funnel, and we can now devise some offers around that, right? So, and then after the pricing calculator, now hopefully you've built a strong case for your solution. Now you're ready to send them to the marketplace or to a demo, whatever your appropriate CTAs are. Lastly, below the CTA section, consider including some FAQs. This can provide some SEO value to the page, but it can also help you overcome those objections so that when they are going to the marketplace, they really are ready to start their evaluation and not still shopping around. Okay, so sorry guys, I warned you I was going to be moving pretty fast. I hope this isn't too fast for you. Next up, content marketing. So, content marketing is a long-term initiative. And once you begin seeing the results that it delivers to the business, you're going to want to scale it. You're going to want to address more personas, more use cases, more buying stages, and continue to scale content production. But I think the truth is when you're first going to market, you can start smaller. So we recommend really taking an intent-based approach in order to maximize conversions. And so what we do is we flip the funnel. So instead of building a whole bunch of awareness right off the bat, we're going to focus on building the assets at the bottom of the funnel that are going to ensure that people are converting and have the highest chance of converting at each buying stage. Because it doesn't make sense to drive a ton of traffic and create a lot of awareness if you don't have the pieces in the middle and the bottom to effectively convert buyers. So what we've done here is we've flipped the funnel, looking at it upside down. At the top, the first priority is for those who are ready to buy. You're trying to remove friction from that process. You already have free trials in place. A couple of other things that you might look at would be live demos or playground/sandbox, so that users are able to explore the app, see it in action without having to get their admin to install it. Next up, for those who are product aware, they're aware of your product, they're looking at other products. What we want to do here is build confidence and position our superior value. So here, competitor comparison pages can help buyers understand the trade-offs between apps and position your value. Meanwhile, demo videos and implementation guides can be useful in moving forward, building confidence and moving forward with your solution, seeing what it's going to be like to live with this. For those who are aware of the category, they're aware of the solution, but they're not aware of your product yet. So they may be exploring competitive products or still evaluating use cases. Here, use case pages and solution pages will allow us to go after those high intent keywords, bring them in for your use case or for the solution that they're trying to implement. Meanwhile, building out some case studies and testimonials will be extremely valuable in securing trust in the solution. And then, more towards the top of the funnel, when they're aware of the problem, but still trying to understand how to think about it and how to devise an appropriate solution strategy, then we look at things like having a resource hub, white papers, webinars, and blog posts, particularly around long tail keywords. And then at the very top, for those who aren't aware of their problem yet and haven't given it priority in terms of solving it, now we're looking more at thought leadership content, industry reports, and some social media content and strategies as well. So our recommendation in terms of maximizing conversions when you're going to market is start with the ready to buy and work your way down to make sure that you have a well-performing funnel and you're in a position to convert all of the traffic and opportunities that come your way. All right. So moving on to search ads. So I skipped SEO, but I think the important thing, and probably many of you already know this, is SEO is a long-term play. And depending on your SEO strategy, as well as the competitiveness of your space, it could take many months before you see the results you desire. So search ads are extremely valuable because they can enable you to leapfrog your competition in the search results page, to put you in front of buyers who are actively looking for a solution like yours and ready to invest in one. But in order for search to be effective, you really need to focus on two things. One is intent. The biggest mistake that we see brands making is trying to use search advertising for prospecting. It's just very inefficient and expensive to try to use search for that way. Instead, see it as the best opportunity to capture high intent traffic. And so you want to focus your search campaigns around active buying intent. And you'll really look for three things there: people who are searching for your brand and product related keywords, people who are searching for your competitors' brands and product keywords, and then closely related use case keywords. So if you focus on people who are showing these intent signals, you have a much better chance of driving success in this channel. The other key thing is relevance. So you want to be able to match the narrative of your ads with the user's search intent. And so, here we're showing an example of one of our ads for marketing as a service. And so what you'll see is that beyond using the targeted keyword itself in the headline and copy, the messaging is really focusing on the underlying problems behind the user's query. So when people are looking for a mass agency, they're trying to figure out how to accelerate growth and reduce overhead while keeping their teams lean. They're looking to gain a trusted partner who brings unique expertise that they don't have access to. And so our messaging here is really focused on trying to get at that underlying intent behind the query. And so when we do this right, it's going to drive engagement and conversions. Two other cues that can really help with engagement. One is going to be your ad extensions. These can be very helpful in boosting your visibility within the search to be able to rank for more terms. And they're also going to give users a more expanded view of how you can help them. And then the other thing to look at there is your landing page. You want to make sure that your landing page content is aligned with the ads and the keywords that you're using, because it can be extremely disruptive and can really detract from your campaign performance if you're using a whole bunch of ads to send people to a landing page that appears loosely related, causes a lot of drop-off. And then make sure that the performance of the landing page is good, so that it improves your overall campaign performance and the user experience and conversion rate. All right. So Search ads are a great channel for capturing active buyers. And for that reason, it is the quickest route to ROI. But it's also important to understand that it's a relatively small audience. So that can lead to maybe limited growth opportunities. And as competition within search continues to increase, rising costs as well. The reality is that the world of people who could potentially benefit from your solution is much larger than the number of people who are actively searching for it, right? So research into this problem across B2B has generally found that at any given time, only 5% of potential buyers are actively in the market. The other 95% aren't aren't aware that they have a problem or haven't decided to invest in solving it. And so this 95% is actually, in our experience, it's one of the biggest opportunities for long-term growth for your brand. So let me talk a little more about that now. First, I just want to clarify this distinction. It's a really helpful distinction for marketers. You really have two different disciplines here: demand capture and demand creation. Many of you are already familiar with demand capture because it's what you're doing every day already. And so that's targeting audiences who are actively looking for a solution. Again, this is only addressing a small part of the market, and with it, your objective is to get them to choose, to make them aware of your brand and solution, and to get them to choose you. Whereas demand creation is targeting those audiences, the 95% who are unaware of their problem or haven't decided to solve it. And so with this, we're aiming to educate them on their problem, help them understand it and define it, and create urgency for change. So here, what we've done is, I've tried to align demand capture and demand creation channels with the buyer's journey, so that you can see how this breaks down. And chances are nearly 100% of what you're doing right now is focused on demand capture. So it's helpful to have that awareness and understanding. You're spending 100% of your resources to go after the same 5% of buyers that your competitors are, and they're spending 100% of their resources there too. There's this 95% that is generally ignored within the marketplace and beyond. And there are ways that we can use to reach them and create that demand. And so the important thing is they're not problem aware, so they're not searching for a solution. We need to find creative ways to get our story and our messaging in front of them. So you'll find that ads and PR are frequently used channel. Increasingly zero-click social content. So this would be long-form social posts, carousels that people can slide through, videos, etc. Basically content that allows you to deliver your story and your message within the platform without requiring people to go to your website. That's one way that you can create demand within social. And then, as you're seeking to educate this audience, then having thought leadership content, podcasts, a content hub, those can be valuable channels as well. Oh, okay, so just quickly here, I just wanted to share some inspiration for what demand creation can look like. And because this can be a kind of theoretical conversation. And so first off is one of my favorites of all time. This was a campaign Atlassian did back in 2009. And so I think the challenge that they were addressing is, how do you convince people that their tooling might be the problem. And I think the solution here, and it's quite brilliant, is to empower their peers to tell them. And so Atlassian had a campaign, some of you may remember it, incentivizing people to trade in their old wikis and bug trackers for a free license, 10 user license for Confluence or Jira, or a 20% discount. And in order to do that, then people have to identify what they were trading in and the pain points, why they needed to get rid of and clunk this product. And so this created a ton of awareness and social engagement with people highlighting the problems with other legacy solutions in the market and how much they love switching to Atlassian. So it was a really smart and effective campaign. Next up, for many brands, our biggest competitor isn't marketplace apps. It's actually spreadsheets, or it's the legacy ways of working that represent the status quo. So here in this example, Stanlow, which is a financial management platform focused on gaming companies, they give us an example of how you can challenge that 800-pound gorilla in your space and create demand, and basically using some very creative strategies to highlight how spreadsheets are holding teams and businesses back. Last up, New Relic in the observability space. They take a bit of a more focused approach to creating problem awareness. And so they have a series of ads that are focused on micro problems like Node.js errors or memory leaks. And they use those to create awareness for the bigger problem that no one's thinking about, which is the problem of siloed data monitoring. And so these are just some different directions that brands have taken to build effective demand creation campaigns. Hope that provides some reference for what demand creation could look like, as well as maybe some potential inspiration. All right, last up, I do want to leave a few minutes for Q&A. So when you start marketing beyond the marketplace, you're going to start attracting buyers who are at very different stages in their buying journeys. And as you know, the B2B buying journey and the buying journey for apps can be pretty long. So retargeting campaigns can be a great way in order for you to help buyers complete their buying journeys that they originally started with you, ensure that you stay top of mind, and ultimately are able to secure that conversion. So retargeting is only as good as your audience collection methods. You want to make sure that you have your tracking codes and pixels set up properly. You want to be sure that you're GDPR compliant with consent mode v2. If you want the ability to retarget to audiences that you've accumulated offline, like at the team event, all those business cards, then you can integrate your CRM with your ad platforms. You can take it a step further by enriching your CRM with data from customer data platforms like Apollo.io. This is going to really improve your match rates. And then the ads themselves are important. You want to have a mix of content ads as well as direct response ads, so you can address people at different stages of the buying journey. People in these audiences will end up seeing your ads a lot. So it's important that you're refreshing those with a regular cadence. Generally, monthly is good. So I think the really valuable thing that you can think about with your go-to-market strategy is how to build a multi-segment retargeting program, basically having different campaigns targeting different stages of the buying journey, as well as different frequencies of recencies of engagement. So, for awareness, people who have just visited your website or engaged with social media content, they're aware of your brand, but haven't gone deeper. Consideration, they've maybe demonstrated some more intent by watching videos or reading your comparison blogs. And then decision, those who have actually interacted with your marketplace listing or their returning users. So you can create each of these as a separate retargeting audience on GA4 and in the ad platforms. And you should do that even if you're not running retargeting ads right now. It allows you to start collecting those audiences. And then within those segments, you want to also look at time-based cohorts. So 30 days, 90 days versus 180 days. As you get with the more recent interactions, you're probably going to find that prioritizing direct response ads will be more effective, whereas longer out, 6 months, people haven't seen you, then you're just trying to re-engage them. And so maybe content offers may be more effective there. And then you're going to want to have a constant flow of new users to ensure that you have an appropriate audience size to effectively run a retargeting program. So can be, if you don't have that traffic organically, then you want to be running prospecting campaigns internally to continue to build that traffic. And then run different ads on each of your retargeting audiences. We don't want to just assume what's going to work. Sometimes we see surprising results, so be sure to test and see what resonates, and then scale from there. So we have included here just a couple of examples of retargeting campaigns to inspire you. I'll go ahead and just jump over these. You guys can look more closely at these in the deck afterwards. And then I'm just quickly wrapping up and opening up the Q&A. Thanks, guys, for bearing with me. So, we've covered how to build a solid go-to-market plan. Start with your listing. It's your highest conversion point. Be sure that your website is tuned to be able to drive growth for the business. Then look at capturing the most immediate opportunities, active buyers. So search campaigns can be very effective. And then as you're looking to drive that next level of growth, then consider demand creation campaigns in order to win new audiences and really drive advantage for the brand. And then along the way, definitely look at building out your retargeting audiences and campaigns in order to maximize conversions. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Sorry that did run a little long. I hope I didn't go too quickly for it, but let's just jump into the Q&A now.
All right. We're in a Q&A section right now. We do have one question that hasn't received 10 likes, Matthew. So we're going to get to that one first. The question is, we are just about to launch our first product. How do we build trust if we don't have any customers yet?
Oh, great question. So I think two things there. See if you can get some beta users who can provide some reviews. And then I think the other important thing I would recommend here is Gotomarket as a free app. Build an install base and get some reviews. Because otherwise it is really difficult taking an app with no trust, no credibility, no installs and no reviews, and then growing that up. particularly if you're a newer brand in the marketplace. So we've seen a number of partners struggle with that issue. Going to market as a free app can be an effective solution there.
Oh, we have a follow-up for the first question. When is the best time to switch from a free to a paid app?
Oh, that is a really great question as well. And I've seen a number of different approaches there. I've seen some partners have specific thresholds. They want 100 installs before they switch to paid. Other partners have actually had an entirely different strategy already, where they've waited until they've crossed 20,000 threshold, the 20,000 installs, and then converted to paid. So obviously, the advantage of the latter approach, if you have the capacity to be patient there, is with that many installs, they were one of the category leaders, and surprisingly, many of their users converted from free to paid. So that must have been a pretty big payday for them. Okay.
Thanks, Matthew. Okay, before we get to the next question, we do have a question for all of you here. So we went through demand creation briefly earlier, and we just want to send out a question right now, a poll. Do you think your app would benefit from demand creation? So we'll just keep this open for about 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, actually, I think let's close the poll so that we could get to the rest of the questions. I see them are coming in right now. Let's close it. Yes, 96%. Okay, that is great. Well, we can't wait to send over the slides after for you to dive in a little bit more. All right, moving on to the next question. Could you share your thoughts on creating different types of landing pages for different ICPs, for example, based on your industry or the size of the ICP company?
This is a great question. Leisha, I think that you would actually be better at handling this one. Do you want to take this one?
Sure thing. So when it comes to content marketing, at industry pages definitely do fare very well in terms of attracting that very niche audience. We often find that I'd say somewhere in a content strategy, this is more of a lower funnel piece of content, if you will. We see success running these kind of pages, especially for SEO, if you want to target, very specific search queries for specific industries. And even in search campaigns, if you're able to run a targeted campaign towards certain industries. So for example, on LinkedIn, if you're targeting a project management sector, being able to set your targeting filters to that audience and sending them to this landing page, there's definitely just a bit more alignment in terms of the content that is being advertised, as well as what they will eventually receive.
Awesome, perfect. Thanks,
That?
Leisha.
Okay.
No, I thought you nailed it.
Great. So we are also seeing more questions regarding what is considered a good conversion rate for an Atlassian app?
I think I know we have that data.
Yeah.
I don't know still if you have that off the top of your head. I think the last number that's coming to my mind is 7%.
I would say yes, it's about there. But to be very sure, I think we can send you the actual numbers like in the email, just to be safe.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that data up right now. I believe we have the cloud number somewhere. Okay, and best practices when going from free to paid, what to offer existing free users?
Good question. So I think that in order to retain those users, it's extremely valuable to communicate in advance with them. I believe that you're able to offer them discounts for the first year and maybe more to help make that transition a little less painful. And then the other thing is to reinforce the value, the additional value that they'll get from having paid support behind the app and ongoing development and innovation.
All right.
All
Thanks,
great
Matthew.
questions.
So many great questions. Unfortunately, we are at the top of our hour, but we have taken note of all the questions here, and we will follow up personally with responses. But we just wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. And before we wrap up, we do have an exciting announcement. Matthew will be attending the upcoming Team 24 event at Vegas. And we would love the chance to be able to connect with as many of you as possible there. So what we are going to do right now is we're going to drop a Calendly link, which will allow you to schedule a session to meet Matthew. So, whether you just want to continue off the conversation that we're having here today, I feel like we're getting so many good questions right now. We'd love to talk to all of you. Or if you just want to find out more about Brighttail and our services, you get the chance to do so. We'll also be sending the link in the follow-up email so you're able to schedule a session there, and spots are limited, but we hope to talk to as many of you as possible. All right, I believe that's it. Nice, see you all. Matthew, any final words before we wrap up?
No, thank you all for joining. If you do have any questions along the way with your go-to-market journeys or anything else, feel free to reach out to me, or happy to chat with you at the team event too.
Great.
All right.
Thank you all so much once again for joining. We hope you guys found this session valuable and you're able to join us at all our future webinars. For those of you who have submitted the questions, we have taken note of them. We will be following up personally, so you can expect to hear from us soon. All right. Have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you are. Thank you all once again, and we'll see you at our next webinar.
All right.
All
Bye,
right.
guys. Thank you.
Bye.